Welcome to Pivot, a podcast hosted by Katie Day, where we find out how business owners have been pivoting their businesses to stay relevant and successful.
Hey guys, what's going on? Katie Day with the Moving to Texas team at Coldwell Banker. Today I am joined by Chih and Mike, or Mike and Chih, otherwise known as the Dumpling Dudes. Mike and Chih and I met because we were neighbors, and so we knew each other from that. And then one day they kind of were telling me a story about how they wanted to quit their jobs and start a dumpling company. And I thought it was crazy and I thought it was cool. And then they actually did it. So I'm really excited to have them on. They are great friends and make amazing dumplings. So what's going on, guys?
Hey, thanks, Katie. Thank you so much. Hi, Katie.
So let's just start out with like kind of an intro, talk about how you guys got to where you are today. Obviously, I gave like the super Reader's Digest version, right? Like quit our job and make dumplings. But where did the love of dumplings come from? How did you guys get to where you are today?
It's a good question. Okay, there's a lot in there.
yeah. So how did you guys get started?
Start from the very beginning, right? You want me to start at the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we met about 13 years ago. And the first time I met his friends, we had a dumpling making party, and that's how I was introduced to his friend group. So everybody brought their own filling. We brought store-bought wrappers back then, and everybody sat around and folded and talked and got to know each other. So that's kind of where my love of dumplings came from. And then we did that with my friends later on, introduced him to my friend circle, and we kept making dumplings year after year with friends and family. So that's how we got started in dumplings.
Yeah, awesome. And then what was, I know you both were in, long-term careers.
Right.
So what, I guess, sparked like the entrepreneur mindset? And then how did you guys start Dumpling Dudes?
So we've both been oil and gas for about 15 years. And then it's a lot of fun. We love the corporate environment, but at the same time, we spend so much time building dream for our company. And then about 2 years ago, we kind of decided, if we can help big corporation build their business, why don't we build something of ourselves? And something that we're passionate about, something will be exciting when we wake up. So that's why about last year we pulled the trigger. We both quit our job and started Dumpling Dudes. Yeah. Very scary.
Yeah. So I know when you guys first started, you were doing dumpling classes, right, and things like that. So what would a typical class look like?
So we do a lot of class. At the beginning, we only have about 6 people in a class, and then we eventually move out to about 12, 15, and we do corporate event. There's like 25, 30 people. It's a lot of fun. People make different color dough. It's almost like an art class. We make regular dumpling. We make the more advanced one like Baby Yoda. We do Hello Kitty dumpling, actual dumpling. In fact, when we did team building, we actually have, last year, we have a Baby Yoda competition for one group. And snowman competition for the other group. When we did kids party, of course, everybody loved Baby Yoda too. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, the classes are a lot of fun. I love them. Really, I just love eating dumplings, but that's a story for another day.
You still hold
still our record holder.
You still record holder for the most dumpling ever made.
I think I'm not sure.
I was just saying, I'm very proud to hold that record. So yeah. Okay. So as far as kind of everything that's going on in the world right now, what would you say is the biggest positive that you guys have seen with COVID? Like maybe in your personal life, it could be business as well, but I think everyone's focusing on, so many things that are going on and kind of the negative. What would you say is the biggest positive you guys have seen?
So I got to tell you, when you're building a business, this is nothing that you put in the business plan ever as a contingency, right? Well, I mean, it may be now moving forward for everybody in the world, but when we started building a business, this definitely wasn't something we had planned for. And when it kind of all came down that day at the rodeo, when they made the big announcement back in March, or in February or March, they said, shut it down. We were getting ready for a bunch of different things coming up. Yeah. So we had a bunch of production and we had to shut our kitchen down and kind of pivot to something new. So being kind of a virtual space like we are, being mobile or, and all of that, we not tied to a brick and mortar, that's a positive for us in this because we were able to pivot really easily. And she can talk more about how we pivoted with our business model with that too. But that was really a big positive for us in it.
Yeah. I think the other part is we've been almost like a year since we started our business, and then we stopped building more customer. we start getting very close with our customers. I would say at least half of them are our actual friends. We still talk all the time. So when this hits, you kind of, it's very nice to see like all the support we're getting from our friends and family, from our followers, and people just come all out supporting us, help promoting us, so we can pay like our rent, so we can pay our kitchen, we can pay our staff. The first couple of weeks was tough, but we were able to get by because of all followers show up. It was very, very nice. And then also during COVID, you kind of just quarantine, you cannot go anywhere. So when we had dumpling pickup, that's the only time we get to see people. And now that's the only time we get to see people. All our customers will bring their whole family.
They feel the same way too.
One day out. So it was just really nice to see people and see people's faces. And it was very fulfilling for us to be able to do that.
I think through COVID, our story has reached a broader audience as well too. Being on Houston Life and having some things like that, because they did a story about us as well, about how we're dealing with this too. And so it's really gotten our reach a little bit further than I think we probably would have gone on our own at that time with what we were doing. So, turning that kind of spin on it has been really good for us.
Yeah. So basically to kind of like fill it in a little bit, previously, pre-COVID, you guys were doing classes, right? Every weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday, corporate events, things like that, in person, classes. And obviously, once the stay-at-home order got put in place and gatherings were kind of halted, classes were no more. And I think you guys were very quick to say, well, what if we were to make them, freeze them, and then people could still, have dumplings? And, from what I've seen, basically every week you guys are selling out. So it's been really cool to see over the past, I guess now, few months.
Right. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
I know there was a couple times where we were like, well, this will last a couple of weeks and we'll be back, right? Just a couple of weeks. And now I'm like, this is like the 10th week, 11th week, I think.
It was definitely very scary at the time.
It was.
When COVID hit, we were about to have the biggest months that we ever had. It was about to be the months we're going to go from red to black, have like 7 different events lined up, and then everything got canceled. So, but
it challenged us to think differently about how we produce what we produce and how to make dumpling, kind of accessible to everyone. I mean, we make the bakeable dumpling, which is, you just pop it in the oven and bake it, and it's super easy, versus, we do have some pan fry versions, but we got the easy ones too. You come up with some new flavors, and we've been able to do some stuff. And we had a fundraiser last month for Outreach United for Pride Month, and so we were able to do that with our sales. So it's really opened up a lot of new things that maybe we hadn't really thought about we could do, and that's really cool or maybe we were too scared to do at the time, right? That's really what it was. So necessity kind of brought us to that,
Well, and I mean, I think that just from the conversations we had previously, I think that obviously selling them or doing some sort of pickup was something that was in the works, right? But it was when you have classes from Thursday to Sunday and you're prepping for that and getting everything ready, like it just wasn't something that was feasible with everything else that was going on. So, I mean, I know that you guys have been super busy and have been hiring people and things like that. So it's definitely taken a turn, but like in a really cool way, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. Yeah.
So for someone who hasn't had your guys' dumplings, what would you say are the fan favorites? And you can't name all of them. So I want each of you to be like this one.
So our most popular dumpling today is still the traditional dish. That's a pork, leek, shiitake mushroom, Chinese barbecue sauce. And that's actually my grandma's recipe. That's our first dumpling recipe that we had in class and we have for bulk ordering. So, I mean, being engineer, we always trying to see, okay, how do we beat this recipe? So we'll be like trying for the whole year, trying to figure out what other recipe people like. We came very close with the ginger chicken and the K-pop, which is a kimchi, bacon, cheeseburger for yourself. But still, my grandma's recipe is still #1 out there. I mean, she just nailed it. I mean, everybody loves her recipes.
The classics. That one I think is my favorite as well. And I like that you guys started doing that one in the bake one too. Cause like, I mean, the pan fry is obviously always just so good, but like the bake is a nice little twist on it.
It does, right? Yeah.
So, yeah.
I said, well, what's your personal favorite?
My personal favorite is probably the ginger chicken. Okay. What's yours?
I don't know. I go back and forth between like chorizo mac and cheese and like the K-pop now. I love the kimchi burger one. It's really, really tasty.
I like the chocolate one too, but I feel like I couldn't eat as many.
So I think we've listed them all now.
Right.
I was like, yeah, you can't name them all. You didn't name the vegan curry mash, which I think
do like that one too.
It's like my really second favorite after Tradish Delish.
Is it okay?
And yeah, I would say Tradish Delish is my number one favorite. And then the vegan curry mash, and then I kind of like in the classes the vegan one you guys do with like the noodles. And tofu and stuff. That one's pretty good as well.
Yeah.
But really just all of them. All of the above. And I remember like back in the pilot days, we did like the banana and like Nutella ones with the chocolate wrapper. Right. That one was really good too.
Those were good, yeah. We should bring those back. That was actually really tasty.
The dessert ones.
The dessert ones are fun though. I mean, because they're so creative and.
Well, and really deep frying any sort of food is like you're never going to go wrong with it. So yeah, cool. Well, as far as where people can find you guys online, what are your social media handles? What's your website?
You can look us up, Dumpling Dudes, just as it says there under our name with a Z. We're dumplingdudes.com for our website. We're also that's our handle on Instagram and also on Facebook. So you can look us up just by that anywhere.
Good deal.
If you want to order dumplings, you go to the pickup on our website. That's where we go to.
And people can order them on what day of the week?
Yeah, so we just actually put this week's order out. They go out Monday, 9 a.m. is when they open. They typically sell out within the day. And then we do pickups on Saturdays. So right now we're doing pickups at our Edo location. When things get a little bit better around us, we'll be back out picking up at breweries and supporting other local businesses as well. That's really a lot of fun to do, right? Yeah. That's a good time. So, beer and dumplings, yeah.
You're like, oh man, we're at the brewery again.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's so hot. Let me get a beer. Right.
Cool, guys. What would be your number one piece of advice for someone that wants to start their own business or wants to start a new business?
So you want me to start?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay,
you go first. Yeah.
Okay, so I would say from day one, we never intend to make the best dumpling ever. I mean, there are so many delicious dumplings out there. We never trying to be the best, the most delicious dumpling, but we are trying to be the most fun and unique because we're more about experience. Yeah. So because we're trying to focus so much on being fun and unique and the whole experience of making dumpling, cooking dumpling, including the baked one, people actually really do enjoy our dumpling. So I would say for business, don't try to be another business, but try to be better. But figure out how to have your own differentiator, how to be different, and how to stand out among your competitors. So I think being different is more important than being better. That's my advice for everything that we do.
Yeah, that's a great, definitely. We didn't set out to make the best dumpling, the most unique and most fun. I mean, I took my passions and put it into it. So I have a passion for chemistry. I have a passion for engineering. I have a passion for music and all of that. So we try to incorporate that into it. And if you follow your passions and put your passions into what you do,
I think the food will taste good.
And being flexible and being agile in what you do as well too, and don't be anchored to one idea because it's going to change, the message, as long as your message is the same, the packaging is going to change every day through your career. So it's just stay true to who you are and it'll come.
Yeah.
And so Mike says one of his passions is chemistry. So what you guys can't see behind Chi's head is a whiteboard. And what's really funny is like in the early days of Dumpling Dudes, when they were like trying to figure out the perfect recipe and how big the dumpling should be and all that, like they basically measure everything out. So the entire whiteboard basically, and I have my whiteboard here, so I can't make fun of you guys too much, but had all of these calculations, right? And it was like, well, if it's this many grams, then it needs this many grams of filling and da-da-da-da. So the first class, they're like, you will put this many grams into your dumpling. And like, we did, right? But then we realized as the class went on, like, you don't actually have to measure them like to the exact gram. It's like, it could be a ballpark figure, but for the initial class, I remember I was laughing so hard because it was like I was measuring out each one, making sure it was like 13 grams and like, yeah. So the science background does well for dumpling, so I'm here for it. Cool, guys. Well, I really appreciate y'all joining me today for this podcast, and I just love your guys' story. So I'm always excited to spend some time with y'all, even if it's online.
I know. Thanks so much. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's good to see you.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you for your time, and dumplingdudes.com. Check them out.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Pivot. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and follow Katie on social media at MoveMe2TX to stay up to date in all things real estate.